Welcome to the objective review of Bohemian Rhapsody. In the in-objective review, I had to break a movie down into 6 categories and assign weights to them depending on the genre. All right, let's start off with story.
I enjoyed the show. I write songs. Our lead singer just quit. But then you'll need someone new.
And for story for dramas, I assigned a 25% weight. And in the story of Bohemian Rhapsody, it follows the rise and fall of the band Queen. If you don't know who Queen is, you probably do know who Queen is, and you're probably a fan because they have had a huge impact on the whole entire musical world really since they started. And specifically this movie not only follows Queen, but it follows Freddie Mercury. And that was one of my issues with the movie, is that it focused too much on Freddie Mercury. I mean, he's amazing and he's very important, but I would have liked to see other folks and other band members. Like there's a certain point in the movie where someone says, "Oh yeah, I gotta get back to the kids and to the wife," and I'm like, oh, I thought this person was like a kind of womanizer, always sleeping with people. Now he has kids. Like, I want to see everyone's growth, not only Freddie Mercury's. But the thing I really loved about this movie is that, I mean, as a person who likes Queen, loves their music, I wasn't a huge fan of them. Like, I don't know every aspect of them, but I just know kind of the highlights of their career. Like Freddie Mercury was a great singer, and he has some issues with his sexuality and stuff like that, coming to terms with it. And he kind of broke away from the band at a certain point. But this movie provides a lot of context and backdrop to all those things, which makes you get more into the story and involved in it. Really adds some things to the whole mythos of Queen. But the thing I really loved about the movie is the moral that I took away from the movie, is that no matter what, you have to find that true love in your life. For Freddie Mercury, he kind of went on that journey to find that true love. And that true love can be your best friend who you marry. It could be your partner. It can come from your family. It can come from your friends who are like your family. But you need that true love to really find your way in life, to really be happy. And that moral of the story, I think, really hits home for me, I think. And so for a story, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. This is on to emotion.
I just need a bit of time. What if I don't have time?
And I assigned 35% weight for emotion. And this movie didn't really have all that much emotion to begin with. It was joyful. It was kind of exciting to watch, but it just didn't kind of hit you in those feels until I think the latter third of the movie, where Freddie sort of confesses to the band about something, and you see some type of reconciliation there, and it's just a really great moment that I think is acted well by all the actors. It's a really great moment. So for that, I give emotion an 8 out of 10. Next up is action.
I love the way you move on stage. The whole room belongs to you.
And you might be thinking, oh, dramas don't really have much action in them. And also, I don't think so either. That's why I assigned 0% weight to it. But action is more than just people fighting and throwing punches and car chases. To me, action is just movement with some story and conflict involved in it. And I think this really had a lot of it. I mean, Freddie Mercury, the way he moves on stage is somewhat mesmerizing. Like, he owns the crowd. And I think Rami Malek really showed that. So for action, though, I still got to give it a 7 out of 10. Although it doesn't really factor into it because I gave it a 0% weight anyway. Next is comedy.
Do it again.
One more. How many more Galileos do you want?
Roger, there's only room in this band for one hysterical queen.
On a 5% weight, and the comedy in Bohemian Rhapsody was pretty steady. I mean, it was at the right moments, kept me chuckling a lot. Special out to Joseph Mazzello, who played John. I just really liked his character. Like, he was pretty nonchalantly, sarcastically funny. Like, it was a reactionary funny. He didn't really say anything specifically funny, but just his reactions I thought were priceless. So for comedy, I give it a 7 out of 10. Next on acting, and for drama movies, I assigned 20% weight.
Freddie, concerning your private life.
What more do you need to know? I make music.
And really, when it comes to acting in this movie, we're talking about Rami Malek really here. Everyone else gives a pretty good performances. Like I mentioned before, Joseph Mazzello, I really liked him. I thought he did a great job portraying John. But it's all about Rami Malek in this movie portraying Freddie Mercury, and he did a really good job a lot of times. I mean, the movement on stage, I think he just captured Freddie Mercury so well. And I can't really say if he captured Freddie Mercury's, just talking ordinary life, because I don't think we're privy to a lot of that information, or a lot of that behind the scenes. But he does a good job becoming that character. I believe he is Freddie Mercury of this movie. And he does a fantastic job. The only issue I have with his acting is that he can't sing. And so when they switch over to singing, it is a clear contrast from him talking to singing, and it just comes off kind of cheapish. Also, I wish he would have just bulked up, because like Freddie Mercury looks like a big guy. Like he looks like he's 6'2" or 6'3" and bulky, but Rami Malek just is kind of like, I don't know, my height and way scrawnier. Would just like he would just bulk up more and look more of the character. I don't know, do some of that method acting that actors do. But regardless, he did a good job. Great job. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Next on to directing.
You're a legend, Fred. We're all legends.
Where I sign in 15% weight. And the directing in this movie is hit or miss in a certain aspect. There are some scenes that I feel like are just, the camera work is really choppy. Like the camera is just going all over the place. Not as bad as like Catwoman, but it's just, I just like it to kind of settle in and just get into the scene and be with the characters, but it just moves around a lot. And then there are other scenes that are really amazing. I mean, the last third act, I think, is amazing. I mean, they're at the Live Aid concert, and you feel like you are at that concert. I mean, I've watched that 20-minute video footage a couple of times, and it's amazing just watching it, but it's amazing watching the rendition of it, the reenactment of it in a movie theater. You feel like you're in the crowd. So the directing is hit or miss there. The pacing of the movie, I think, was done really well. Like, I never felt like I needed to look at my watch. It went along really well because the performances were so good. And then there's the thing about the music. The music in this movie, of course, is amazing. It's Queen, so you know it's going to be amazing. But I feel like they overused it. Like, I feel like maybe the director was pressured into putting every single Queen song that anyone's ever heard of in there. So sometimes you have a scene where I think just a nice, quiet little score would have worked. But instead, they play out the scene with the Queen song. And instead of that being like grandiose, it seems more like a direct-to-TV movie that got the rights to a Queen song. And so they threw it in there any chance they got. But the times that the Queen actually performed on there were amazing. And some of the cinematography, I think, was done well. Some of it was really bad. Like, some of it were really close-ups that they just kept doing. And then some of it was like these grand shots of the crowd, which were amazing. So like I said, it's hit or miss. And it's probably hit or miss because I think this movie has two different directors. I know Bryan Singer was involved at one point, filmed a lot of scenes, got in conflicts with Rami Malek, and he was fired or let go or something like that. And so I think that shows. But the live performances were too great to not give this at least an 8 out of 10. So that gives us our weighted average of 8.2 out of 10. As a Queen fan, I just really had a good time watching this movie. And even if you don't like the acting in the movie or the performances, it's still listening to Queen in a rendition of Queen with a loud surround sound, and you feel like you're there. It's worth the price. And I would say you should go see it in theaters.